Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Auburn Board of Health meeting. It is now 5:32 and it is Monday, March 30th. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item is to review the agenda, add or remove any items. Anything that has to be moved or taken off.
So at this point, the 6 o'clock hearing for Jack's Variety, Jack has contacted us and will not be able to make the meeting, so we're withdrawing that request.
Withdrawing the request, they're going to be moving it to another date, did he say, or he just...
No, that was a request. This, the reason that we do have it here is because he had requested to come before the board.
Okay, so, all
To
right.
review the MOU.
Okay, so he's withdrawing the request.
Yeah, I had
Perfect.
to plug once.
Okay, so that one's off.
Yeah,
Anything else on the agenda needs
we'll,
some...
when we come to it, we'll have them.
Nobody else here.
And I don't believe we have anything else that we have to add or remove.
Okay, excellent. Bill schedule?
Yes. Bill schedule?
You can look first. So we have K Hilltop Animal Clinic. So we had some, looks like some shots for some dogs. Distemper. That's Animal Clinic.
Thank you.
It's also Animal Clinic. And this one is, oh, they all have to do with the kennel.
Correct,
So
yes.
one is, it looks like the hot water heater went or something, so they had to replace some, do
Yeah,
on
so
that.
the hot water heater was replaced, and that work was completed, and we do have hot water again.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
And the other one was just, looks like some shots and everything like that.
Correct, yes, we had
Okay.
some animals that required vaccinations.
Okay. All right, do you have a motion to accept?
I accept.
Can you make that motion?
I make that motion.
I second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I have a sign here. There you go. Okay, do we have any minutes to approve?
We do not.
Okay, good. All right, so we can move right into the agenda items and you can just run with those.
Okay, thank you.
Better.
So for the 6 o'clock hearing, as I mentioned, for Jack's Variety, we do have an email that I just want to provide for the board. Jack had sent that over earlier today.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know from the last meeting, I know I wasn't here, but Eileen had updated me as to review of the MOU. And I understand that the board has made a decision about no further extension requests.
Yes, exactly.
So by April 1st, which is this Wednesday, there's either the installation of the sink or the coffee service is discontinued.
Now that was a letter we sent out
No, by email.
by email, but it went out.
It went out to him, and it's part of
That was
that.
part of the front. Yeah, I only read today's stuff.
And then I sent this other one in response to his email today,
Oh, okay.
to remind him, and I copied and pasted what I had sent him on March 10th.
That's fine. Yeah, because I don't, he requested to come in front of us. We've been speaking about his requests and everything without him the last 3 meetings, so I feel if it's that important to him, I understand if he's not feeling well, he can't make it, but he can hold off, and we already made a judgment really, so he can, if he does what he needs to do and then comes back in a couple, on the 13th, I think that's our next date, April 13th or something like that. I'm not, yeah, it's right on here too. So if he wants to set something up and come in and talk to us on that day, as long as the machine's been pulled or whatever, or the sink's in, that's, I think Steve was when Steve and I talked about it, that was back in February, and then I think the last meeting you and I spoke about the
Exactly.
thing too. So we're closing on a year. I think we've been more than open, we've been more than accommodating. If you don't know how much you're gonna do by now, then maybe you're not doing enough. So at this point, we're gonna leave it with what we did last time. I'm not gonna, there's no one to argue his point. So we can't make a decision on just a note saying, please reconsider. I can't.
So I'll go there Wednesday.
Yep.
Like you had requested.
Yep, and go from there. I mean, I'm not trying to get into somebody else's business, but this has been going on, I think we're on 9 or 10 months at this point. So I think we've been more than accommodating. How do you feel? That's my opinion. How do you feel on
I feel
that?
the same way.
Okay. All right, so once make sure they get those emails back so they'll
Thank
have their records.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
Thank you, Ellen.
So we get till 6:10.
Okay.
So
All right, so
run.
let me,
We can probably run the
sure.
rest of the meeting.
All right, so for, let me just jump down to the director update. The flu vaccine order confirmation, I wanted to let you know that we have made basically a reservation for the private pay. So we will have vaccine. We're ordering 150 vaccines. In the past, we have received both private pay order and the state deliveries of state disseminated vaccine. This year seems to be, in the past couple of years, they've been saying that the state is no longer going to be providing vaccine for boards of health unless you are pretty much gearing clinics towards children.
Yep.
And so forth. So we are we're ordering some private pay to continue our clinics. So I wanted to let you know that our order has been placed and we have confirmed. We also had the rep come out last week. She was very helpful to be able to, we can actually monitor our delivery. So Eileen and I spent a few minutes with the rep to kind of watch it. We can know when our order is coming, have a little bit of more flexibility. The conflict of interest training, I just wanted to remind you, I think I've got yours, Ray, and I think I got Steve. We just need to get yours, Marion, whenever you get a chance. The training is online. It's a
For what
watching
now?
the video. The conflict of interest training. It's the time of year
okay.
that the town clerk sends out their reminders. So all of the people in our office are doing it, the boards and board members. We just want everybody to just be reminded if we could get that back just within the next month or so. The new and if you need me to send out the link to make it easier for you, I can do that.
Okay.
The bylaw update, I wanted to let you know that we have started the special town meeting. That town meeting, as you may be aware, is in two parts. So we had the initial meeting last week, or I think it was a week and a half ago, and the second half of the meeting will be Wednesday, April 1st. And the meeting, as you know, has all the school articles, the funding, has the new bylaw revisions, and the typical special town meeting warrants. So I just wanted to give you an update on that.
Any new bylaws that are going to pertain to the health department?
Well, we have the animal control.
Yes.
Yeah, those have been obviously updated, and those will, I can actually jump into the
Yeah,
animal
I saw that's the
control
next one,
updates. Yeah, so this is the time of year that we also have for licensing for the dogs. Amy, the animal control officer, has been sending out reminders for everybody for licensing. Licensing is actually by March 31st, which is tomorrow. So at this point, we will start the process of getting the license letters to go out in the next couple of months, and the enforcement of licensing. So we do have quite a few dogs in town.
I don't think I
that-
paid for my 2 yet. I'm thinking going, tomorrow, oh
So-
shoot.
So, I mean, she's been trying to get that information out through social media and obviously the website and so forth. So, this will be kind of, moving forward to be able to get people back into the dog licensing. And then the bylaw enforcement, because spring is almost sprung, we do
Yeah.
have, we do have some calls coming in, some complaints already, actually, people walking their dogs up at the parks, the public parks. And, there's definitely, people are aware if somebody's not picking up after their dog.
Yep.
So we just want to remind everybody to, to pick up after the dog, to make sure you have a baggie or a scooper or pooper scooper or something to make sure you're not leaving it on the fields and in the parks.
Yep.
The compost bins and Sharps containers are available for sale. We're just highlighting that again because springtime seems to be the time people start getting out into their yards and doing gardening, and we do have a full order. This is our second time ordering the compost bins, so we have a full order of the compost bins. Those are available here at the Board of Health. They're $55, which is considerably cheaper than what they would be offered at some of the large box stores. They're in the range of $75 to $100. So through a grant that we're able to get with Amy Sullivan, the solid waste coordinator, she was able to work that with DEP, and so we have a program now that we can sustain. So the compost bins are available here at the Board of Health. We do have two sizes. We have the large size that you can put in your backyard, and then we also have a small kitchen scrap bucket for $10. So to save all your banana peels and orange peels and anything that you have from the kitchen that's produce, coffee grounds, eggshells, those sort of things that are all that all go into the actual bin. The Sharps containers, we do have two different sizes on the Sharps containers. We actually have had quite a few calls in the past couple of weeks for Sharps containers, and I know Eileen has brought up several for the different sizes. So those we actually have here in the office as well. They are $2 for a small size, the smaller container, and $4 for the larger container. Again, that was we were able to get those containers through a grant program, and again, we're able to sustain that program going forward by charging a nominal fee. So we want to also highlight the fact that we can use those, the Sharps containers can be deposited at the CVS container, the drop-off. I don't have it on here, but I also wanted to just give you an update. Last week, I brought over another load over to Wheelabrator for the prescription disposal from the police station. We had approximately 110 quarts of meds, so two really big plastic containers we were able to get rid of. So people are using that drop box in the police station.
And it's not going into the water supply.
Yeah, it's really fabulous. I mean, since we've had it in place, we've done, I think this might be our fourth disposal.
It's great.
So it's really going well. So again, that was through a grant through several partners, the Chamber of Commerce, Wheelabrator, and of course in coordination with the Auburn Police, because they house the unit there and help us empty it and dispose. automatic defibrillator devices, the AED. The reason I have this in your packet, Mr. Nordborg could not be with us tonight, but he had expressed some interest in finding out about the AEDs and getting some information on how they're being used in the town and how many, if there's any information that we can ascertain on to how often the defibrillators are being used and save lives. So it's, Steve will be at a future meeting, so we'll kind of hold this until we're able to kind of have that discussion. The office update, I am, sad news to report, but kind of bittersweet. Paulette has given notice of her retirement, so she will be finishing out her last couple of weeks. She's not here tonight. She has some time off, but she will be retiring at the end of April.
April?
Yeah. So we'll make sure to let you know, before she leaves. Have a little get together in the office, I'm sure. She has been here.
Can you bring your voice up a little higher? Just bring your voice up
Sure.
just a little bit higher.
Sure. She has been, I want to say, 28 years.
Yeah,
I think that's about right.
you told me.
Yeah. So she's very excited, obviously.
Yeah. She needs to. She's talked about it. I've been here for 5 years, and she's been like, I don't know how much longer, and I think it's going to be better for her. She's going to have some time, and I think that'll be great.
Yeah, definitely.
Have we, do we know how we're going to backfill the position?
So we will be advertising for the position, and that will be this week.
All right.
So we'll get the notification out.
Is it one where they're going to make us wait till July 1st to put somebody in place? Are we going to try and get somebody in within a month or so?
I certainly hope not.
Yeah,
Eileen and I.
because you need the people in this, and you need the staff in the office. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's extremely busy office, and we want to get somebody in as quickly as we can.
Yeah, definitely.
The communicable disease report, we actually, we don't have one from Cheryl as of yet.
Okay.
I do know that Cheryl was out of town last week, so I would imagine it would be coming in this week.
With her tan.
Okay. Yeah, so I will, I'll bring that to the next meeting. The next scheduled meetings that we have, the 2nd and the 4th, Mondays, April 13th and April 27th.
Yep.
We can hold both those dates, and if we don't need both meetings, I mean, we can always, back off of one of them if you wish, or if you have a preference.
Yeah.
Certainly take that
Okay.
now if you have any.
No, I think when we were here last time, we set those dates. You and I had set the dates of the 13th and the 27th, and I look okay. The 20th is Patriots Day, so yeah, the 27th looks all right.
Okay.
So we skipped over B.
Yep, I'm going to
Okay.
I just wanted to finish all
Sure.
the pieces here. So Eileen has some updates for some temporaries and some new establishments and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah, we had, I'm not sure if I told you about Head Start, but Head Start did open up last Friday in the old St. You guys call
St.
it-
Evans.
You
It's
call it
it's
St. Edmunds, St. Joseph's Parish, that's why I wanted to.
Yeah.
They have 32 children in 2 of the classrooms, and they are using the kitchen. The food is being brought in, but they're utilizing the kitchen to serve it. It's temporary right now until the end of June, and they'll decide what they're going to do after that. And I did a final inspection at 481 Washington for BP, so they hope to open Wednesday morning. We're going to go, me and Caleb, tomorrow and just check one more item there. And then we have I did the Business Expo last Tuesday, so I did do the sharps and the compost. That's what we're promoting for the spring event here. And for temporaries, they're all starting to come in, so we're gonna start on Independence Day, but we have a few small ones at some of the churches that are coming in that we're starting to work on.
Any new establishments?
Just the BP for right now, no new.
What about the remodel at Holiday Inn Express?
They have not started yet. Well, I mean, not the kitchen.
It's blocked off, so I didn't.
Yeah, it's not the kitchen. They are doing the dining room.
Yep.
And you're familiar with the inside of there where they have that long wall?
Yep.
Mhm.
They're taking that and moving it to a different wall.
Okay.
So we will have to go in before they open it up, but they're not adding new equipment, they're not
Yeah.
removing equipment, they're actually taking that and moving it.
Did you do an inspection of the 2 rooms they're using right now for the food? Because they have 2 rooms that they're using to for the people to serve out of.
No, I didn't, because honestly, Ray, I didn't think that they started.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom's staying there, that's why I know. Because I had to drop her off yesterday, I noticed the everything was blocked off, so I walked down to the rooms.
I mean, I've inspected the
Yeah,
kitchen,
yeah.
but not
Yeah,
where
they're using 2 rooms
for tables and
for
chairs.
tables and chairs for people
Yeah.
to sit at and everything like that. So, and they put some of the grab and go in that area too. So I just didn't know
Yeah,
if
I'll
they
give them a
had-
call and
Alright.
take a ride over. Thank you.
No problem. I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
Ray,
So yeah.
if I may.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had 2 more things that I wanted to let you know.
Sure.
The e-cigarette legislation, I had kind of some of the emails that we've been getting as informational, and there's a big push, I think you probably are aware of, the
Yeah.
e-cigarettes in banning e-cigarettes to minors. There's some legislation that's swirling around about that. And then also a lot more push on the Tobacco 21 communities. So I just wanted to obviously bring it to your attention. I know the board, is not, you're not ready to move on that, to see what is happening. I just wanted to let you know that there seems to be a push towards a lot of that education going around right now. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I do have some of the educational emails that are flying around.
Do we have?
Please.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. What I want to know is the last time. I mean, I've done tobacco regs twice since I've been here. Did we have anything? We treat the e-cigarettes as tobacco, so we should already be covered under the age in town here, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
We were treating it. We treated e-cigarettes as tobacco and made the same regulations. If you can't smoke tobacco inside a bar, you can't smoke the e-cigarette inside a bar. I think we had kind of made it all the same. So I think we're covered under that. Because I saw what the state's trying to do, and I thought we were covered.
I think this was more for sale.
Yes.
Sale of.
Well, no, I understand that, but
Oh,
that was
okay.
part of ours too.
Okay.
I mean, the whole state law is wrong because it says you can't sell to minors. It doesn't say minors can't have it. You can't sell and you can't give it to minors, but if a minor has a cigarette, that's just the way the law's written. It's kind of mixed up. But I think, because I know we just did it in Westboro too. We banned the sale to under 17 or whatever the age group now is 17, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've seen this. I have this sitting on my desk. Yeah,
just wanted to-
the 21 towns, I heard that there may
so
be
much.
they might be looking to put it on a state ballot coming up to make the entire state 21, is what I heard. There was some push on that. I went to a meeting up in West Boylston at the
The monthly meeting?
monthly meeting. I went to
Nice.
that, and they were talking about how the state's looking to get that on the thing. They want to make the whole state 21. So, like 21 towns, I think they're up to 30, I want to say 32 or more now. But they're saying if you look at it nationwide, there's actually a lot more. And we have more in the state of Massachusetts than any other state, but I think they said there's a lot out there. But we have the most in the United States. The state of Massachusetts has more communities that are 21 and above. But I do know they were speaking about getting that on the ballot and letting the people vote on it.
I think this one, as of this email, Ray,
Mm-hmm.
this was a more recent email, so this, we're up to 51 cities and
51.
towns.
All right, 'cause I think the thing she had on projector was 32, but that was as of January.
Yeah,
So, and she said they were jumping on, she knew she had 7 or 8 coming on
Yeah.
board right away, so, I mean, 55 out of 351, that's a big percentage, really,
yep,
for something like that.
yep. That's why I just want to keep it
Yep.
on your radar,
Mhm.
just to kind of give you, you know, most of these towns, for the most part, I'm gonna say are out towards,
You have a lot.
the Boston and
Yep.
the lower, kind of
The Plymouth
well, towards
County.
the Cape and
Yep.
Plymouth County, right,
Yep.
those. But, as long as we can just keep.
Yeah, no, keep our
pulse
eye on it, yep.
Absolutely.
So I know, is it Karen that runs it out of the city of Worcester? She runs the tobacco, Worcester
Correct.
Regional Tobacco.
Yep.
I know I had spoken to her probably a few months ago, and she said they're getting a lot of people talking about it in different towns. A lot of small towns are starting to talk about it, which is it's a good thing. I mean, if you want to smoke, smoke. I have no problem with it, but let's not have the kids smoking. You watch the kids. I remember growing up, I'd drive down Auburn Street and the kids would cross the street over to McDonald's parking lot and smoke over there because they couldn't smoke on town grounds. It's not as much now as it used to be because of all this stuff, but I don't think it should be there. You see smoking everywhere, so.
They're right there outside the high school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And finally, the last item that I just wanted to let you know, I will be sending out, we've contacted Allied for the spring, the leaf pickup dates.
Okay.
Because I know now that, the weather's kind of breaking, everybody's,
Finally.
yeah,
The snow
everybody's
is melting.
trying to, look ahead. So I know people are calling, a lot of residents are looking for those dates. So as soon as we have those dates, we're going to post them on the website.
Good.
And we'll get those out. So I will have those hopefully within the next day or so.
Okay.
So that should give you the updates here.
All right.
I do have one more, Ray. We
Yep.
do have another restaurant that's going to go through a renovation.
Yep.
Actually, two. Wendy's is just finalizing their plan to keep the drive-through open and renovate the rest of the store.
Okay.
And between the building department and us and the Board of Health, we've worked through the plans and working with the contractor on what they need to do. So I would assume that that's going to be pretty quick here. And I think there's going to be a few renovations at the Pub 99, but not kitchen-wise or anything like that. I think
Yeah,
just updates.
they go through a remodel every 5 years. Most of the chain restaurants do. Every
Yeah.
5 or 6 years, they try to freshen their look, and they
And
do.
that's exactly what it is. So
Yep.
basically, I don't think they'll be shutting anything down. Just
no.
a matter of me going in and
A lot of times they'll shut off half, do one half, shut off the other half, do the
I
other
don't think
half.
it's that extensive.
No.
I think that will be what happens in Wendy's, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that's not even that extensive there.
Okay. All right. We got 10 minutes for the next hearing.
Did we go through everything?
Yeah. Told you we fly. Couple quick questions. What do we have for numbers for how many food establishments in town or permitted food that we have to inspect?
Oh,
All right, just if you write it.
I
Didn't know. I'd like to just find out how many permanent establishments we have in town.
I just did a chart of it the other day because I just charted out what has to be done by
Yep.
June.
Yep.
I wish
Yeah.
162 is sticking in my mind.
I was
Okay.
gonna say 165.
But I
Yep.
don't want you to take that from
No.
me because I,
No, that's fine. I think I remember at one point we were 174, but we lost a few. So.
and now we've gained a few and I
Yeah,
added them to
yeah.
the list, but they may not have been in my
Okay.
chart.
So yeah, if you can just give me a count on that. Steve and I had been talking about that one of the meetings previous, and we never got it out there. So just a list of. I don't even need names. I just want to know a
Numbers.
total. Yep.
Do you want them categorized anyway, Ray?
Give me the total, and then give me how many low risk. That's all.
We we're not segregated
No,
here, but
I understand.
between
Yep.
what we,
Yep. Yep.
to be low risk?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Just because those are the ones I know, like the gas stations are low risk. Most of, and
I think that we're on the same page with what's low
Yep.
risk, but I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure you knew that we weren't.
No, I know here you guys don't officially categorize. It's just
Okay.
the low risk establishments, just in case with the summer coming up and with all your all these, we're gonna be getting, even with Christmas and everything like that, you start getting all these temporaries. So I wanna make sure that we're staying up on our numbers. So if, you know, the state does allow the low risk to be done once a year with a phone call, the second inspection, so I just like to see that if we have 42,
Separate, yeah.
where we can separate out to make it easier for you to get to all these other things, because you do have a lot of other events going on, and I want to make sure our numbers stay tight and stay where they need to be, because, I mean, when I got on the board 5 years ago, that was the mandate I was given when I got on the board, and the numbers went up, and then we lost people, numbers went down, the numbers came up, and numbers went down. We'd like to stay right around where we can. And I understand with now Darlene, with everything she's doing, and you're kind of all alone on food right now, so I want to make sure that if we can pull 40 off from July to December, that gives you more time to get all the temporaries done. And, you know, because then you have the fall festival, and then you have all the church festivals at Christmas, and you have, it gets to be a lot, so I'd like to. Huh?
We get it.
Yeah, I don't know, well,
If you want to, you know, I mean, we can make that a goal this year if you want to apply to the state to,
and it's one of those things where, we applied, in Westboro, we applied, but we're not doing it. We just said, if we get behind, like if I get on to, if a ton of housing come on and I can't help Terry with hers, then I said that's there as a backup, just in case, you
Sure.
know? And it's nice to have, you send it out, and then you always have that, so if something happens, you can say, okay, we didn't get to this one twice, but it's on our list of 2, we made a phone call. That way, if you get backed up at the end of the year, you can't say, oh geez, I got 75 more restaurants, 75 more food establishments. You can look and say, oh, I got 16 left to do, the rest are low risk. If I don't get to them, it's not, the state allows it. So I kind of like it as a kind of a backup plan, because you never know in public health what's going to happen. I mean, you know, anything could happen any day. And so it's one of those things, if something big happens, then you're covered. You have that little bit, you know, just as a backup. So. All right. We still have 6 minutes before we can start the hearing. Is there anything else going on? Anything else we need to discuss?
So for the Independence Celebration, we have begun planning for that. And I know that the registration forms are in the process of being made public for that. I know they're working on finalizing the final drafts. The date for the celebration, I believe, is July 2nd.
Yeah, because isn't the 4th a Tuesday this year, or
Fourth is a
Saturday.
Oh, 4th is
Yeah.
actually a Saturday this year.
Yep.
It's July 2nd.
So July 2nd, which is a Thursday,
Okay.
is going to be the date of the celebration. We are going to have the food vendors as before. The live band. We'll have the carnival rides. And obviously, with each year that we do, it becomes a little bit easier, and we're able to improve certain things so that it flows better.
Yep.
I know Eileen was on site for the entire event last year, and worked with the building department and the rest of inspectional services to make sure they were identifying any glitches. The radios seem to work very well, so we're hoping to take what we saw as improvements from last year and implement those. We're going to try to focus a lot of solid waste and recycling again this year. Last year we identified that we did have, we had trash and recycling, but we didn't have enough containers so that they were right next to each other.
Okay.
So unless you put them right next to each other and
No
they're
one's
labeled
walking-
correctly,
no one's walking
yeah,
too far.
if you don't make it as easy as possible, it doesn't always get done. So that's
Okay.
something that we've identified as a goal for us to make sure that we can have enough containers out so that we can improve upon what we did last year. We have a lot of repeat vendors, food vendors, so it's kind of a nice thing. Eileen will have some familiarity with people that have been at the past couple. The rain date for that Independence Celebration is going to be Sunday, July 5th.
Okay.
So the 2nd and the 5th will be those dates for that So, we hope for good weather and, have the
Maybe the
backup.
snow will be gone.
Yeah, and have the backup just in case we don't need it. Okay. How close are we?
Can't start yet. It's still at 3 minutes.
6:06. I think,
We can always start late. We can't start early.
okay. Okay, so for let me just tell you, we do have, also in your packet, I put a copy of the current trash fees, so that you'd have it. Just, sometimes it's kind of nice just to look and see what we have for the fees. And then that's just my, on the side, this is just the yearly cost. But that price, the rates are going to be for a 6-month period. So trash is billed in 6-month periods, and it goes out twice a year. The commitment that you came in to sign last week, which was so helpful, those commitments go out twice a year. So that's helpful. This kind of gives you the rates at a glance, and then this is the abatement request form that we have. I don't think I have one of those in the packet, so that is what the form that's used if somebody is interested in doing the abatement. So they fill those out completely. So one of those has to be filled out for each billing period.
Yep.
Okay. And, you know, the assessor's office or our offices can help fill those out and go through.
And where do they go to?
So the abatement request forms typically go to the assessor's office, and then
Okay.
from the assessor's office they get forwarded up to us, and we schedule the hearings such as you have
Now,
tonight.
Darlene, is this
Yes.
$108 single for this large toter?
If that's correct.
And this is single, so these two add together if you have a small and a large?
No, this one, you actually have the choice if you want to do the small or the large totem, Marion. So you can do, if it's a single-family house, you can do a small toter, and that's going to be $88 for a 6-month period. If you're going to do the large toter,
Combined?
no,
No.
Large and
separate.
small?
Choose.
No, you can do either the small toter for the trash, or you can do a large toter for the trash.
Yeah, this is just the green one. I mean the brown one, not
Yeah.
the green. The green is recycling. That you don't even look at that. You
Oh,
just,
okay,
you just
good.
deal with the trash. Because you have 2 toters, but you take the green one and just don't even count it. All you're looking at here is the brown toter.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you notice that you are filling up your bin, hopefully you're not, your trash bin, but if you have a couple of different choices, you can, if you're recycling to the max, so your toter is completely filled with recycling items, you can pay $25 deposit for another recycling toter. And if you feel like you're okay on the recycling toter,
Yeah.
and you're filling up your small trash toter, this is $88 every 6 months, and you have to do the blue overflow bag. If you find that you're doing a small trash toter and you're putting out a blue overflow bag, you know, every week, then you might be better served by switching
see.
to a large toter.
Thank God I don't have to.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
But
that-
I hear you.
Yeah, that at least gives you the choices on knowing what the
That's good.
prices are.
This
in
is really
advance.
good.
All right. We are at time where we can start the first hearing.
Okay.
So the first hearing is for 65 Burnett Street. Would you like to come up and have a seat, please? Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry about last time. We had to cancel. Members couldn't make it to the meeting. Apologize for that. So we're here tonight. So, so you have an abatement. You're requesting an abatement on the trash bills. Okay. Now, had you gone and gotten the information that I had requested? Or?
You asked me to get the dates.
Yep. Did they?
So the bill 938
Yep.
is from 7/1/2014 to 12/30,
2014.
yeah,
Yep, okay.
31st to 2000. And then bill
5985?
yeah, is January 1st, 2015 to
Okay.
6/30th.
Excellent.
2015.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, they go January to June and July to December. Perfect. That's the information I needed. That actually helps me make my decision and my opinion on what I want to see happen. Okay. I don't have my copies from the last meeting. Do you have?
Okay, what do you need?
Just the request. I don't have a copy of the request.
Okay, so this is the packet that we received from Ms. Robidoux.
Yeah.
This has everything in it.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is the one we had. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Because there was some information. There was a date of stop service request on 9/9/2014. I don't know if that ever made it in, and then it says 1/15/2015 over here where the signature is.
so,
So I think what they were looking for is to stop service at that point, even though the date came up here.
so the Board of Health, and forgive me, I know I wasn't at the last meeting, I know Eileen updated me. And I think I spoke with Ms. Robidoux on the phone. The Board of Health received a call from a family member, I don't know if it was yourself or your sister, back in October.
That might have been me.
Yeah,
Although I know that she called too, so.
yeah. Paula had received a phone call on October 16th of 2014 regarding concern for whether or not the trash was being collected by Allied. We had, it's my understanding from that phone call that I think you were referred to the assessor's office for that information. As I explained to Ms. Robidoux, typically that would be something that if, I think it was handled maybe through an email, we wanted to make sure she got the actual form to be able to cancel the trash service, and I can't confirm whether or not that was given. So for all intents and purposes, they did contact the town in the middle of October.
Okay.
I'm not aware of the September date,
Yeah,
but
that's,
the October, we can't
Was-
confirm that
okay.
we did get a call.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for that date, there was an additional contact from the family. Again, I don't know if it was, which family member it was, but there was another contact made to the assessor's department on November 25th of 2014 with a complaint regarding the trash was not picked up.
okay.
So the trash, that complaint was received, it was relayed to Allied Republic, and Allied Republic did pick up the trash. Now, we had, if we fast forward to February, we had received an email from the assessor's office stating that Ms. Robidoux wanted to stop the service, and I think in your packet, I think maybe in
Yeah.
that packet, we have something from the
Yeah, so there was some-
assessors. So, you know, that request was received.
Okay.
You had indicated that you needed some information regarding the
Yep.
billing
Yep, and-
at the last meeting. That is in your packet.
Yep.
So that is,
Yeah.
that shows you the bill that Ms. Robidoux has identified for the last billing period from July to December 2014, 176.34. The current bill that was sent out for this billing period, January to June 2015, is 165.84. And then the total, if I'm correct, hopefully you have the same amount, as of today, is 342.18.
Okay. So I got, thank you for the dates, that was
I'm sorry,
great.
342.86.
86. the dates actually kind of puts it more in perspective for me. That's why last time when you just gave me numbers, I was like, when are they for? Because it doesn't help me. Since I've been on the board, we picked up the trash came under us. Now the billing goes out in, I think, beginning of June for the July 1st, and then you have to have it in, I think, by mid-July, I think July 15th. Don't quote me on that. So I know that's how it goes. Now in the past, if you use 1 month of service, 2 months of service, 5 months of service, you pay for that 6-month period. It's just kind of the way we did it. I can't think of the right word, but we don't, prorate, thank you. We don't prorate, so if you only use 3 months, we only charge you for 3 months because we get billed by Allied for a 6-month period, whether or not you use the trash. So in my opinion, I would say, okay, and this is just my opinion, we're gonna have to vote on it, but I would say, all right, that first bill where it was 7/1/2014 to December 31st, 2014, even, you didn't call till October, or we didn't get the information till October, so that means the service was there. So in my opinion, I would say, okay, that would be one that I would say, all right, we've already paid, the town has already paid the trash company for the service. But the January 15th to the June 15th, I feel that because you did contact the board in October, and even though that, you know, in that November one, there was a request for pickup, that would be covered under the first billing. I don't see a reason that we should charge you for the January to June of this year. You had made contact. I saw the contact. There was contact in January on this thing here. There was a letter. Well, that was a letter that went to you.
It was actually received in February.
It was received in February, which is a little later. February 17th it came in. I'm still at that point where I would like to see the payment for the first bill, but in my opinion, I would like to abate the second bill. Marion, do you have any comment on any information?
So we didn't take over guardianship until it was sometime, I believe, late August.
Okay.
And she had been moved out, once again, March
March.
of 2013. And so all of that time, you know, it was like a ghost house, and
And when did the tenant move out?
the tenant moved out, let me see. Was that October? And that's double billed because there's two, you know, apartments there. That's getting double billed. So she was gone March 2013. The tenant moved out. This was in August 29th, but he was to be moved out by October 1st, 2013. According,
Okay.
you are hereby notified to quit and deliver up the premises now held by you as
No later than
the
October.
tenant, no later than October 1st,
Okay.
2000. So he was gone.
And I understand that, but the first we heard of it wasn't until really late October and then February of this year. So I can't go back and say, all right, you know, I don't have the crystal ball. And I understand, yes, there was nobody living there. I just wish someone would have called earlier and
Well,
said,
first of all, we couldn't have called.
well, who was the
It was the guardian who was,
and the guardian didn't
time.
pay the bill.
and the guardian didn't pay the bill, and the guardian wasn't doing any of the taxes, and the IRS was after my mother, and we had my sister and I walked into a big mess.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're dealing with the whole big picture, and finally you start looking at, okay, the bills for the trash. But I mean, we're still dealing with the mess from the VA that the guardian left.
Yeah.
That who knows what's going to happen with that.
No.
I mean, you know, we're just now starting to get to the point where we can straighten out some of these messes, but nobody was living here. We're getting double billed because it's 2 apartments, and, you know, she was moved out March 13th. We didn't have guardianship. There
Until,
was, if I came before you and said, please cancel the trash, you could say to me, no, I can't because you're not the guardian. Legally, you could say that to
Yeah,
me. So
no.
we couldn't do a single thing until, you know,
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile, everything just,
and the guardian let everything run up. And,
Yep.
and I understand that. That's not something we can deal with between you. That's between you and the guardian and the courts or whatever it has to be done there. We can only look at what's in front of us and when the request was made. We've had it in the past where somebody wasn't living in a house for 8 months and they didn't get to us, and we had to collect because it is a payment that's made out. And I understand what you're saying, because if it was happening to my family, I'd feel like I'd be in your place and feel the same way. If the guardian wasn't making the bills and wasn't paying, they're just leaving a mess for you guys, and I understand that. And that's why I'm looking, if I can abate half of it for you, it's gonna help you out a little bit. I just don't see where we can abate fully. That's my opinion, because there was a call made that the trash didn't get picked up, and then they went and picked it up in November, so that shows me the trash was used, even if it was one day. But that's the way the code reads, is if you
but
use the
they
trash
weren't even
once.
picking it up. I mean, that's the point. The fact that somebody had to call and say, you picking up the trash? Did you forget about us? Meant that nobody was providing a service. The service was not rendered. It's not only that we didn't call, they weren't rendering the service, because even when the trash was put out, they still weren't rendering the service.
We do often get calls from residents, if, even on regular routes, where a truck may go by and forget to pick up a regular service stop. So we do get calls from residents that get trash picked up normally. If what you're saying is
From March 2013,
no,
the downstairs apartment had no trash.
what I'm saying is, if you were putting out trash toters intermittently, or your tenants were, maybe they didn't recognize it as a regular stop, but when you called in November, somebody called from the property, they did go out to pick up the trash. So we do respond to complaints that we get through the office, and certainly I recognize that you called in October, and the fact that you didn't have the stop service form submitted to the assessor's office till February, I mean, that's understandable.
But nobody told us.
And-
Because we were
and-
also filing abatements for the sewer too, because the sewer was getting overbilled. We were paying the maximum amount and nobody was living in the building. And I filed abatements then, and we were discussing all the bills, and that was back in September, before, and we had sent all this paperwork in. Why didn't someone tell me then that, okay, you have these back bills, if you're gonna file abatement for this, you have all these other back bills. We paid the bill off, and then the next thing I know, I'm receiving another bill for January, and I'm like, huh? We paid it off. I mean, I don't live in this town, so I don't know how the billing works, and I live in Leicester, and we pay for our own individual service, not through the town, so I'm unfamiliar with it, but nobody told me that you have all these other bills.
So that would be, if you had questions about what was owed to the town, you contact the treasurer collector, and
We did,
would advise you on that.
but they didn't. That's the point.
Right.
And so we were trying to catch up on all the bills, trying to figure out what were the back bills. There were back property taxes that we had to pay. We paid them off. But at that time, nobody said, okay, well, you have to file an abatement for this too, and you owe this money. I thought when we paid off the bill, that was it for the year. And I'm going, whew, Auburn's awfully cheap, you know? And then another bill came in unaware, and I'm like, huh? And that's when I called here and said, okay, what do we owe? And that's when she finally got into all these other bills, and I'm like, well, why didn't they tell us this in the first place? Because we would have filed an abatement back then.
I can't speak for any other department, Ms. Robidoux. I can tell you that, I think when I spoke to you earlier, I told you, as far as our department contacting us in October, I take responsibility. You contacted us. If you weren't sent out a cancellation form, you know, that's on our department. Certainly, that's why I wanted the board to know that you did, you or your family member did contact our department mid-October.
But I also contacted the town back in September
And I'm not
to
aware of that.
file the abatement charges, and then we also had some other issues with a tree. And why weren't we told at that point, you have all these other bills that you have to pay? Meanwhile, no one's living here, we're getting billed for this, and she's been moved out since March 2013. How can you bill us? This bill is for 2 apartments.
And because it's a two-family, that's how trash fees are assessed.
But
So-
one person wasn't even there in March 2013. The next person was gone October 2013.
And there's a level of responsibility for a property owner to be aware of what
She has
bills are due.
Alzheimer's.
I certainly can appreciate the
How is
situation.
she's not responsible? How could you possibly charge somebody who has Alzheimer's, who's in a nursing home, bills, and the other guardian was not acting responsibly?
And that's the other guardian. It's not the town. We don't go around and see who's moved out of their houses.
But under the circumstances, we're now trying to straighten out the mess, but I don't feel that we were given all the information up front, you know, about what were all the past due bills.
And I think Darlene said it when she said that's something that the assessors do. All we do, we don't send any of the billing out ourselves from our office. We don't have any control over the money. We control if there's an abatement coming in, we take the information given to us, provided to us, and then we abate on that. And we have to look at what is happened in the past and where we've gone from that. We can't, I can't give an abatement to this person and then the same reason come up and not give this person the same abatement. We look at it, we look at what we've done in the past, and we say, okay, when did the information come in? And I feel bad that you didn't get the right information, but it didn't come out of our office.
Who are you connected at all to the town sewer?
No. The town sewer is, every department has their own billing. We don't do any billing. The billing comes out of the assessor's office for the trash. We just, we sign the paperwork for the bills to get sent out, and then if somebody has a question or if somebody's late, we deal with the late fees and everything like that. We don't do the everyday billing of the trash. We don't see who gets picked up every day. I know in the past my trash hasn't been picked up. I've had to call and say, you guys missed my trash, and they come back a couple days later and pick it up for me.
Yeah, but you're living there.
And I understand that, but we don't know which houses are empty. We don't know who has a guardian who's not doing their job. And we can't look at that. We have to look at what is owed to the town. Now, if it comes to the point that it's that guardian that didn't pay the bills and you guys are, that's something for between you and the guardian. And we can't get involved in the personal relationships on the outside. We have to look at what has to be done with the town and where the bills are coming from. And that's why I said, let's abate this January, because let's get rid of that. We were very close to that. So I want to get that I mean, I want to get that 16618 out of the way and say, okay, let's just look at this other billing and go from there. I mean, that's what I feel we can do for you. And you know, I think last time you had said to me, any little bit helps. Well, this is what I'm trying to do to help. In the past, being March, I would have said, yeah, you owe both bills, but I know what you're going through, and I know you've already been here, and I don't want to see you have to pay the total amount. But I'm trying to, you know, my personal opinion is, let's get this bill out of here, this one that's the January, June, and wipe it out, and let's see if we can get that other one taken care of. I mean, that's where I'm standing right now, and I understand. It's terrible that there was somebody, the person who was taking care of it wasn't taking care of it. But we can't look at that. It's the same thing with the car payment. If they were supposed to be making car payments, you're still going to pay for that car, whether that car sits there or not. And I mean, it's only the same thing, but the bills are there and the bills have to be paid. So the
Right,
person.
but when I called up the town and I said, what do we owe for the,
I can't speak,
these back bills were never mentioned.
and I can't speak for that
And
because I
that was
don't
back in September. We didn't get control of this
until August.
until sometime August, but the papers weren't even like in our hands until after that.
And to be honest with you, even if you would have come in August, we probably would have been in the same predicament. If you would have had a bill from 2014 or 2013, we'd have made you pay those, and we may have given you an abatement for that because you were here in September for that August one. And that's what I'm trying to do here, is give you the abatement for this 6 months coming up that's going to June 30th. And that's what I'm looking to do. I don't know where else I can help you. I mean, I understand it'd be great if we could just say, yeah, you don't have to pay anything. But I can't do that in all fairness to the town, and I'm trying to be fair to the town and be fair to you. So that's why I'm saying if we can abate the January to July, so it'd be 166.18. If we could abate that, now this is what I'd like to do, is abate that amount, make you responsible for the 176.68. That being said, if we vote on it tonight, you can still, there is a, you can still appeal. And the appeal would go to, is that selectmen or does that go to court?
I would have to double check that.
Okay. So even if you do not like our decision tonight, you can still appeal. But what I'm trying to do is trying to be fair to the town and try to be fair to you, so that's why I'm trying to cut off.
But services were not rendered during this period of time from 7/1 to 2014, and I can prove it because somebody had to call and say, you're not collecting our trash, means that there were no services rendered. And trust me, it wasn't, they missed it by a couple of weeks. When they came to collect the trash buckets, they took the 2 out in front and forgot about the ones in the back. They totally forgot about this house on their route.
Ms. Robidoux, they would only take the buckets that are at the end.
They
don't-
were.
Right. but
They were both at the end of the driveway, and the other driveway is out and back, around the corner.
It's 2 different streets. They have
It's 2 different
driveways
streets.
on the thing.
But they wouldn't go to the house to pull buckets off. is
They
what I'm
didn't.
saying.
They were right out on the streets.
Okay.
And it had been so long since they've taken the rubbish from the upstairs apartment, which is around the back, that they didn't even bother, they didn't even know where they were. I had to call again and say, are you taking the rubbish buckets?
And I
Services were not rendered here.
And I think noted in the end of November, somebody did call for the trash, and the trash was picked up. So there was service rendered.
One day.
If at all, there's a level of responsibility for the property owner to know what services
She has
are.
Alzheimer's.
I understand your
The
situation.
property owner is not there. She has
Right.
Alzheimer's.
And you are saying that there was, there was a process of guardianship being transferred and so forth. Those dates have been provided to the board, and they're the ones that make the decision on the abatements. Certainly, I understand your situation. When it came to our department, we can document that mid-October, we can verify that you called to indicate that you no longer wanted service for trash.
So you still have to pay for that whole billing period?
That's up to the board.
On the 7/1 to the 12/31st, if I called in October, I still have to pay, and I wanted to cancel the trash, I still have to pay for it?
If you were living there, let's just go, if you were living there and you said, hey, I want to stop trash service as of October 31st, you'd still have to pay for the 6-month period. That's the way the regulations in town are. That you pay for the 6 months. If you use a month out of it or 2 months out of it, you pay for the 6 months because you pay in advance. That's the way our regs read. We didn't write the regs. We look at them, and that's what I did before I came tonight. Is I checked the regs to make sure. And what I'm saying is, from the information that was given to us, and I understand for what you're telling me, it hadn't been picked up in the 6-month period. Me being a layperson who's not driving around and seeing whose trash is picked up, I can't say it was never picked up. And I understand, I don't know. So I go by what I see. I see you contacted in October, you turned in the paperwork in January or in February of this year, we received the paperwork. So what I see that we can do is, let's get the abatement for this period. I would say, the other bill would be there, but you can appeal. And we just have to find out where to go appeal. Because from the information I was given, this is what I feel that I can do. And, and if Marion, if she dissents, then that's fine too. If she says, no, Ray, I think I want to do it this way. The board members all have their own opinion and their own votes. And I just look at it that I'm trying to help. I know it's not everything you want, but I think it's a step in the right direction to abate one of the bills. And then if you're aggrieved by what we vote on here today, you can look into the appeals process. If we vote against you, if we vote for you, then you're good to go. But if we vote to only do one of the bills, then there is an appeals process, and you can speak with Eileen or Darlene, and they can get you put you in the right direction.
Okay.
Because just by the information that you provided last meeting and today, this is what I feel we can do according to the regulations without breaking the regulations.
But I think there's some information missing here, because I was calling the assessor's office back in September when we were abating the sewer bill. And I was not, once again, not given all the information about these other outstanding bills.
And I understand that, but even in September, you had already been into the billing period. So at that point, we probably would have still been in the same boat we are in now, that you were in the billing period and the services, whether the services were picked up or not, we'd be in the same issue. But that's the information that you can bring to appeal. I can't say, you can't, if you told me if I had paperwork from the assessor's office saying, oh, she called us in July, August, and September, then that's another thing. I don't have that information. So the information that I have written down that you've sent over and everything is what we can work on. The appeal process can bring in all that, because they may have records. You may have records of when the dates that you called them. And that would bring in a whole other issue. But here, from what we have for information, I feel we can abate the January to January to July of this year, but I don't feel comfortable without all that extra information, because, and I'm not calling you a liar. I'm not saying that they didn't give you the right information. I'm not saying that they gave you the right information. I just have to go by what's written and where the notes are. So, and I hope you can understand that. I'm not trying to say, yeah, you're going to pay everything. I'm trying to help you out the best I can. And from what the information I have and how our regulations read, we have to have written information and we have to have documentation for us to abate. Do you understand that? Because I'm not trying to be a mean guy here. I'm just trying to do what I can to help out. All right? And I know it's not the help you want, but I'm trying to do the best I can. I mean, half is better than all, and on this point, you don't have to pay the whole bill if we abate half of it. But I would suggest looking into the appeals process, because if they have information that you called downstairs, that may bring a whole other aspect into it that we can't look at. We have to look at what's in front of us.
Okay.
Okay? Any other information, evidence to be given?
Not at this time.
Okay. Can I have I need a motion to,
Excuse me.
yep.
I just want to point out that the assessor's office can't get rid of the fees, the fines, and interest. So that is something, if you do the abate, if you
They
abate
can't give the fees, fines, and interest for the January to July.
for the bills. So fees, fines, or interest, they, whatever you do for the abatement, there may be, there's I think a $15 penalty, and there's interest. Those are not costs that they waive.
That's in addition to this?
No, it's
No,
here,
no,
but
it's
I didn't know
included.
they didn't. So we have to figure out because that's
Yeah.
just not. I mean, if the bill is abated, I don't see why you can pay. They're gonna still charge penalties on an abated bill.
Well, you can abate the bill.
Yes, but there's $30 and
In accordance with, so you have the billing, if you're talking about 5985
yes.
for $148, you can abate the actual billing, but any fines or interest would be something that they cannot abate.
Okay.
So you can.
So where would that go?
Well, no, it's
No, it just gets, the abatement would get deducted, and whatever was remaining would be the responsibility of the property owner.
it's an extra 18.
So as part of the approval or vote, it can be just minus the fees, fines, and interest.
And can I appeal that?
You can appeal whatever you'd like.
Yeah, that's, like I said, we don't deal with the appeals process. That's not us.
Ray,
Yeah.
if I may,
Mhm.
the regulation has the 6-month billing, so you bill for 6 months at a time.
Yep.
The board, have they in the past considered if somebody contacted mid-cycle, such as Ms. Robidoux, have they done
We have not
partial
done.
abatement?
We have not done a prorate or abatement, and
Okay.
since we've taken over trash.
Okay.
It was also, I believe that was a request of either the committee who made the billing, the solid waste committee, or the assessors, because of the way the billing ran. And because it was, Andy had brought it to us, and that's when Marion, myself, and I believe Ms. Ray was on the board at that time. I think she was on the
Yeah.
board with us. And it was brought to our attention that we either abate the 6-month or we don't, and we don't prorate. And that was a request that came to us. That could be something we end up looking into, but I know it was a formal request that came that we do not abate. We either abate the whole 6 months or we don't abate at all. And that's why we've been doing every time an abatement comes up, we do a 6-month or we don't do it at all. It was requested. It was a formal request we don't write the regulations, but for some reason it falls in our laps to make sure the regulations are followed.
And I can, if you would like, I can just verify with the solid waste.
If you could
advisory
check with the
committee.
solid waste, because maybe, because I wouldn't mind doing a 3-month abatement if we were allowed. And I think at that point, where our hands were tied when it came to us that this is the way it can be abated, this way or that, and that's it. And I know it came through Andy when Mr. Pelletier was running the department, that's the way it was to be.
Yeah, if there's any trash service in a month, it gets billed for the whole month though.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Because I know we were just, that's the way it was brought to us and it was sent to us. Okay, open up the floor for a motion. Do you have a motion?
A motion to abate the bill,
Which bill?
total of 148.
So the 5985?
Oh, 5985 for a total of 408.
$148?
Yes.
Okay, I second the motion. It is a hearing, so it's a roll call vote. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. So we have a motion, it's been voted on to abate the $148 bill for 5985 for January 2015 to June 30th, 2015. And that's that one. So, at this point, we're taking $148, that bill, that 5985, off the top. If you could look into the appeals, and Darlene, if you could look into if they will allow prorate, like a 3-month abatement or anything like that,
sure.
so we can look back into that one.
So again, the amount you're taking off is 100?
148, that's the billing amount on the, I was just told that we can't abate the fee or the penalty, well, the tax, that's 1818 for this period, but that can be something you put in the, in a request for an appeal, saying that, you know, I've been, that amount's been abated, and I'm still being charged the penalty and the tax.
I don't believe you can ask for an abatement for.
No, we can't give the abatement,
Oh,
but on the
okay.
appeal, she can ask why she has to pay it if the abatement's been made on that bill. And that's something, that's the assessors. We don't, like I said, we don't do the billing. We get all the abatements. We get the fun end of it, I
So
guess.
do you want to hold the, I assume you want the.
I want the abatement sent right away for the 148, so that gets taken off, so she's not charged any more fees, penalties, or anything like that on that amount.
Sure, but I'm assuming that you want, you would like still a request for abatement for the bill for 938 for the last billing cycle?
Yeah.
Is it
Okay.
safe to say?
Yeah, that's the
That's the-
938, yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you want to hold that till the
If
next
we can
meeting, Ray?
hold it and put it on, I mean, I hate to have her keep coming back. Can we get the right information and see what we can do? If there's nothing we can do, if we can't abate but in a 3-month period, then just let her know, and then she can go right into the appeals process. If we
Or
can,
you would have to deny it then.
oh, we'd have to deny that.
Yeah.
We'd have to deny it tonight. Well, what we did is we only the abatement was for everything, and we only abated 148, so
Correct, but,
it wasn't 2 separate abatements. We only abated for 148.
right, but the request that we have here,
Yeah,
so that one, if I could just see that.
yeah.
Thank you. This was for the entire amount. Let me just-
Yeah, there was no, they weren't separated out.
Yeah, so,
So we did
but
it.
she has 2014 and 2013. Did
I
you mean
think-
2015, Ms. Rabideau?
558, I mean, 5985 was 2015.
No, I'm sorry,
Okay.
on your form, the request form. You have, for the year 2014 and
2014.
2013. Do
Yeah.
you mean 2015? Is it,
Yeah, because there was nothing in 2013.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm guessing you
Okay.
mean 2015, correct?
yeah.
Okay. So I'll just have you, and you can initial this here for the billing period for January 1st, 2015 to June 30th, 2015.
Okay.
You still want to request an abatement for that. The board, I think what I'm hearing from the chair is that if we get some information from solid waste as to advisement on whether or not you can break up that 6-month
Yep.
period into monthly
Yeah.
So I
installments.
have to file another abatement.
What I would do is fill one of these out and get it right back to us for that period, because that way, you asked for a full abatement, we gave you an abatement on 6 months out of it. So I would fill out one of these.
I'll help you fill it out.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My,
Okay.
so that way, you're in check and you're starting on that one. Get the abatement in right away. I mean, if you have a chance after you're done here with us, if you can just
Okay.
fill it out and hand it right in, we
Okay.
can get that going, just so we can get that started on that one. So
the
right,
bill is 938 is the one that we're,
Yeah,
We're
bill-
abating
Bill
the-
number 938.
yeah, 930, yeah, we abated 5985, so you're looking for abatement of bill number 938. And that way, Darlene and Eileen can look into that, and they'll put you on the agenda and call you and say, come in front of us. If they, that
Okay.
will know it's coming up. Okay?
alright,
All right, sorry we couldn't be any more help, but hopefully this will help
Okay.
you. And then, like I said, there's always the appeals process. Okay,
Okay.
I do, if you don't get what you need, go to the appeals process, please.
okay,
Okay? Because I can only do what I can do.
Okay.
But I'd like to see you get all that money back. I just don't have a way to give it to you. Okay, I hope you understand that.
yep,
Okay? All right,
okay.
I'll take a motion to close the hearing.
Yep, I make that motion.
All right, it's a vote. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
All right, next hearing is 5 Mariana Ave.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you for waiting, appreciate it.
Yeah, just-
Okay. So, are you Beth Dryden?
I am.
All right, I am Ray Gauthier, I'm the chairman of the Board of Health, and this is Marion Howard,
Hi.
one of our members. Okay, so if you could, go for it, tell us what's up.
So I have the police report. My house was hit by a car
Okay,
a couple of times. And Mary was just over from the assessor's office
okay,
to take pictures and fill out a report and whatnot. It was hit on December 6th.
all right,
And I have also from the water department of Auburn, where they came and shut the house off, and then the bill as well for the plumbing who winterized the house because the pipes were freezing on the side of the house that was hit.
okay,
And then I started having problems with, the day it was hit, the furnace just was running nonstop.
okay,
Between December 6th and January 15th, I had someone out to try to fix the furnace 5 times.
okay,
And I did hire a property adjuster who said, it's my responsibility to maintain the house, even though it's hit, even though it's damaged, it's still my,
Yep.
and I couldn't do that,
okay.
obviously. So I left the house, and this is for you if you'd like, this information.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I thought I had called to cancel the trash, and apparently not, because I didn't get these papers before, or
Okay.
at all. So I am requesting that the trash stop, and I do have the paperwork that I just received to stop it, but I'd like it, I haven't had trash since, I didn't have a Christmas at my house.
Okay,
Certainly. So I haven't had trash, which I understand, listening to all of what I just heard, I understand that.
okay. All right,
So Ray, do we have, Ms. Dryden, I'm Darlene.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I spoke with Ms. Dryden earlier, and she had indicated that in January, I believe it was January 15th, was it?
15th is when I left the house.
That you had the pipes drained from a
Yep.
licensed plumber.
That's the plumbing bill that you have.
Okay.
Yep.
She was going to bring that in, because it's my understanding from her in our conversation earlier, that that's when she was no longer able to to
Stay in the house,
stay in the house.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to come a week earlier, but had other issues, and certainly, when I heard them, they were certainly, so it was a week later that he came, which is fine.
Sure. This request for the abatement for Ms. Dryden actually came through the assessor's office.
Okay.
In the form of an email. It actually came in late last week.
Okay.
So we have the actual form that would have to be just completed by Ms. Dryden.
Sure.
Hopefully you have one.
I believe that's
Okay.
right. Both of those are,
That's actually the stop,
There's one underneath, is it
no.
the one underneath isn't the right one?
those are the
No.
two
Oh,
that
okay.
was sent to me.
Actually,
that's it.
oh,
The one at
okay.
the bottom, I think, is the right one.
So are you doing an alternative disposal? Are you?
I'm not in the house, and I probably will not be in the house for another, I don't know when I'll be able to get back
Okay.
in the house.
Right, but are you stopping service?
Well, is that what I do right now, is I actually stop it at this time?
Yeah, you
because-
you would be stopping service, but this form actually is for alternative
Oh, I don't have, no, I don't.
disposal. So
No,
you're not looking to change
No.
to another hauler,
No.
correct? Okay, so we don't want this. We're gonna get you the stop service
yes,
sheet.
okay,
And then this abatement form, in speaking with Ms. Dryden, is for the billing period for January 1st, 2015
Yep.
to June 30th, 2015. Is that correct?
and I'd like to stop it. I don't know if the house is actually gonna be fixed by then either, so.
Sure. So I'm gonna put on here.
Yeah, your
if-
best would,
if
yeah,
it's
the
okay.
best would be a stop, because if you're not in by July, the bill is gonna come out again, so you might as well just stop the service.
Right.
So that way you don't get billed for that period, have to come back in front of us or anything like that, so.
Okay,
So I'm gonna actually fill in the bill number, 8304. I think I gave you it in the packet.
Yep, I see it, yep.
And I'm gonna do billing period for 2015. That way at least you know what you're
Yep.
voting on.
So, any more, is there any more evidence to be given by either the department?
Okay, so this is the form, alternative.
Alright, I'll just put all this together.
And just so you know, Ms. Dryden, I'm just crossing out the alternative hauler form because
Okay.
you just want the stop service form.
yes, I do.
Okay, so that's for the board.
I'll go with this right here. I'll put everything, I would put everything together.
So I think it's fair to, I think you probably have in the packet from what she's described as her not living there
Yeah.
come mid-January.
I remember that. I live right up the street.
Really?
Yeah, I live at 27 Arrowhead.
No kidding.
Yep. So, I remember that whole
Amazing.
situation.
Just amazing.
Yep, it was nuts, what it is. We were nervous.
Three properties and, yeah,
Yep.
crazy.
It was,
Did you come down and see it?
no, I stayed home. Okay,
I got home just in time to see the flatbed in my backyard that I never thought would fit in
in
my
the
backyard.
backyard, they
and
squeezed it around the corner.
They did.
Yep. Okay, at this point, I'll take a motion to close the evidentiary part of the hearing.
I make that motion.
All right, how do you vote?
Aye?
Aye, okay, so evidentiary and discussion actually is, so, do you have a motion for us?
Yes. I'll make a motion to abate the bill of 8304 in the amount of $108.
Okay, I second that motion. And how do you vote?
Aye?
Aye. So as you may have heard, we are only allowed to abate the bill itself.
Yes.
It's 108, so you will still be, I think it's the tax and the penalty. But that's another thing, you may be able to appeal that with them.
Okay.
But you're okay, I understand.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But, okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for being patient with us tonight. We sometimes have some of these long conversations.
That's okay.
Alright.
But well, thank you very much, and you have a good evening, and hopefully you'll be back for the summer.
I hope
So you
so.
can be there for the fireworks, because
I'd
we
like
usually
to.
just walk to the edge of the road and watch the fireworks from there, so,
Good.
Beth, do we have your email?
there you go.
No, I don't believe so. You want,
Well, because we want to send you the stop.
okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So I need a
Stop
motion to
service
close the
form,
hearing.
we
I make that motion.
I second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
It's Beth.
Okay.
Ann, ANND101 at yahoo.com.
So tomorrow morning, I will send you out the stop trash service form. You must fill it out and send it back to us.
Okay, very
Okay,
good.
so
Great.
we'll take care of all the
Thank you
rest.
so much. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
So when you, I don't know if the assessors, they might be.
They shut the
now.
gate at 7:01.
Okay, done.
Well, you can just check with them to see what the, we're gonna send them notification that
Okay.
this has been abated, and then you're gonna have just a couple of, a nominal fee left
Yep.
for the
I
interest.
think it's like $17, I think is what it came out to,
That's okay,
so.
I'll take care of it.
All right, thank you
Thank
very much.
Nice
Good
to meet
luck.
you.
Hope to have you
Thanks
back
for
in the
your help
neighborhood soon.
too. Kind of miss it.
It's a nice quiet neighborhood normally.
No, totally. How does this happen? Thank you, have a good
Thank
night.
you very much.
Take care.
Okay, we have another hearing. It is now 7:02. I'd like to open the hearing for 394 Rochdale Street, septic LUA.
Sorry.
Yay, we're not on the screen.
I apologize.
That's okay.
That's two-page plan.
All right. Slap it down, yeah. Okay, so what do we have here? We are looking at Rochdale Street,
So
which is...
394 Rochdale Street.
Okay.
Before you have a septic plan.
Mm-hmm.
There is a septic repair proposed.
Okay.
We had a failed Title V, and we have been out to the property. We've done perk and soil testing out there with Ross Associates, and they have prepared a plan, and they have also gone through Conservation Commission for the plan that's before you.
Okay.
If you, if I may,
Yep.
this is Rochdale Street here. We have the existing three-bedroom house, and this is the current existing septic system in the area. And if you notice back here, there's quite a bit of wetlands noted. This to the right here is the proposed septic system. This is also where we did some soil testing, as you can see. And in the front of the property, we have a buried well. So we did the soil testing and site work out when it was pretty cold out. They spent a lot of time trying to excavate the top of that, the top of the well, which they were able to get down to it. But as you can see, there's close proximity. This is a 50-foot radius of the well, and here's where the proposed system. They have a LUA request, 15405 IG, and they are requesting reduction of the setback distance from the soil absorption system from the well. It's 100 feet required, and they're providing 63 feet. So it's the owner's well. It's not an
It's not
abutting
neighbor,
well.
yeah.
Right. We have the neighbors' wells are noted here, and they have the well radiuses noted. So this is going to be from the actual owner's well, 63 feet to the system. Now the restrictions for what we have is obviously the road is pretty close, and the buffer zones in the wetlands are restricted in the back. So they are proposing the system here, and that's the reason for the well setback distance. In the past, the board has considered setbacks to an owner's well on a repair situation, obviously.
Yep.
Some of the items that you have required is a pre-test before construction, so it would be a well quality test
Yep.
for Title V scan. And you can also, I know in the past they've done perhaps a 6-month or a 1-year post-test after a certificate of compliance has been issued. So it has been done in the past. It is something that, because they're restricted with this piece of property, it's obviously, to the board's discretion.
Okay. All right.
We do currently have a order of conditions that was issued by Conservation as well earlier this
All right.
month.
Is that going to affect anything on this side of the property? Where they're looking to put, because they have ordered condition up here.
Well,
Is
the order
it,
of conditions is going to be for the entire property, so.
okay, is the entire property in the wetlands or just they're close to the
No,
well?
but they don't identify it.
Okay.
They identify,
Okay.
the measures that they have to take for the property.
Oh,
in the
yeah, yeah.
proposed work.
Oh, yeah, usually you put the hay bales out, do all that stuff. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood what you was talking about.
I'm sorry. I'm
No, that's okay.
Explain it.
You said 63 feet?
Yes.
63.
This obviously would be an improved situation over the
Yeah.
failed Title V.
And there is no sewer going down the street, so they can't connect, so,
No,
or else we'd make them, yeah. Okay. All right, let me see, put those notes there. Okay, any other evidence to be given?
I don't think so, unless you
All
have
right.
any questions.
Can we, any discussion?
Ray, what's this right here?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's LUA, a local upgrade approval.
Okay,
So, all right, I'll take a motion to close the evidentiary and discussion part of the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
All right, I second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye?
Aye. Okay, so to me it's pretty straightforward. We have a 63 foot. Do you have a motion for me, Marion?
Oh, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept the LUVA of 394 Rochdale Street with a proposed setback of 63 feet instead of 100, with a pre-test and a post-test in 1 year.
Okay, so pretest and post of the owner's well. Okay.
And if I could just clarify, you
Sure.
want a Title V scan, correct?
Title V scan, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we normally do when we ask for the pretest. I just
Sure.
want to make sure.
Yep, and
Okay,
do you
'cause-
want it 1 year from the certificate of compliance issue date?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that, if that's all right with you, you're making the motion. So, okay. I second the motion.
All right?
Okay, how do you vote, Marion? It is a roll call vote. Marion, how do you vote?
Aye?
Ray votes aye. Okay, so we have the LUA.
Thank you very much.
All right, no problem. We already have our date set for the next meeting. Is there
Okay.
anything else we need to do tonight?
Thanks, Ray.
I'm
We,
sorry.
we have a sec. We only have one on the,
Just 1 second, sorry.
All right, so we can close this hearing then. Marion, do you have a
Hold on,
motion?
one
What?
second, 1 second.
You have two on the same property? Okay.
You know what? I apologize, it wasn't put in,
Okay.
this paperwork here. Yeah, it's, he forgot to put it in the paperwork. So we also, this is more of a technicality.
Yep.
It's a request for using a sieve analysis instead of the perk. So we attempted to do the perk, and
Just
it was
doing in the
restricted.
weather.
Yeah, so we do have the sieve analysis paperwork, and we already have the results, but he didn't identify it on the LUA form, so I'll make sure we have that. We have it on the plan.
Okay. All right, so we would have taken these separately anyways, so the first one's done. All right, so we can, so how are the numbers?
The numbers, yeah, let me.
Yeah, just, what were the minutes? Because they have to dry out the soil and then they do their own analysis, so I'm just trying to figure out the time frame it was and what size system they're building.
Okay. So it is. This here right here. Can I just, who's that over?
That's forms, that's packet. There's a packet.
Actually, here it is. I apologize. I'll
That's okay.
get it for you. I don't want to misspeak here.
No, 'cause I'm figuring this is their analysis up here, the percentages,
Yep.
but it doesn't tell me.
No, we have a separate
Okay.
form for it. Yeah, it says something
My
about
mom's
that.
calling, so my phone's going off, but it tells me who's calling.
I can calculate out an IV drip, how much medication a person's supposed to receive
Here it is.
intravenously.
I
Okay.
apologize.
But not
Sure.
this.
There's a pieces of paper here.
Okay.
All right, so this is the soil
Report.
certification
Yep.
from UMass Extension. So it was sent out, and this was back in January. Yeah. So we had the groundwater was at 48 inches, 4 feet.
Wow.
And
Do they have to build a
determined
raised system there, or?
sandy loam
Okay.
was the soil texture. So the design is based on 4 feet.
Okay. And, I'm sorry, I didn't get did they say, when the sieve analysis, did they give you a perk rate? I know perk rate, but what's the sieve analysis? Do they even bother doing that, or they just go by what the soil types are?
Well,
I haven't had to deal with one in a while.
Yeah, so
can't
they
remember.
have, it goes through the process at
Mm-hmm.
UMass Extension.
Yep.
And then the design is based on sandy loam.
Okay. All right.
What is that?
Sieve test?
Oh,
That's when they take that.
Sure.
So,
26% gravel content, and the textural class is found sandy loam.
yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I just didn't know if they give you a minute or anything like that, because usually they design a 15-minute system or a 20-minute system or something like that. I didn't see it on there, but I mean, if they're designing it on the sandy loam, then that's fine. That makes sense to me. Alright. Any more evidence?
I think that's all.
Okay. Motion to close the evidentiary and discussion part of the hearing.
I make that motion.
I second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye?
Aye. And do you have a motion on the LUA?
I make the motion to accept the sieve analysis for 394 Rochville Street in lieu of the perk test.
I second the motion. How do you vote, Mary?
Aye.
Aye. So that will be it on that one. Now I'll take a
all set?
motion to close the hearing.
I make that motion.
How do you vote?
Aye?
Aye. Hearing is closed. Any other business?
I don't think so.
All right. I will take a motion to close the hearing.
Make that motion.
I second the motion.
Aye.
Have a good night.